God is saying to stay and when God is saying to move. Not knowing, is this God? Is this family pressure? Is this myself? Often boggles our mind. Fasting and praying and still not hearing clearly from God while you are in the will and the way of God about what he wants you to do, where he wants you to go, and what he wants you to be. Let me say this morning that if you are not walking in the will of God, you need to understand that God is not ever going to raise his voice. Let me say that one more time. If you're not walking in the will of God, God is not going to raise his voice. What do you mean by that, Pastor Swan? If you are not close enough to God to hear him whisper, then you will always be wandering in the middle of nowhere. Because God is only speaking to those that are close enough. Amen. If I would to turn around now and begin to have a conversation with Pastor and Sister Davis, there's no need in anybody way in the back of the room, Sister Farrah, yelling up here saying, "What did you say?" Because I wasn't talking to her. Amen. Amen. If I was talking to her, she would be in close enough proximity to hear what I have to say. And part of our problem is we're trying to hear from God, but we are actually not close enough to God to hear what the Lord is trying to say. God doesn't have to raise his voice to talk to the people that he wants to talk to. God says, if you're really interested in hearing from me, you must move everything, every encumbrance, everything that's not like me out of the way so that you can hear me. So the first thing I've got to do is get everything out of my life that might be blocking me from hearing a word from the Lord. You need to serve an eviction notice on a lot of stuff in your life. Everything that doesn't please God, everything that doesn't honor God, everything that hinders us from being properly aligned with the Spirit of God. We can't bring treasure in until we take the trash out. Oh, go on and preach, Pastor. I said we can't take treasure in until we take the trash out. God can't bless no mess. And to ask God to bless this or that before the weights on our lives are removed invalidates the promise of him moving on behalf of those who will seek his face. And to expect God to bless, that is like throwing fertilizer, dirt and water on concrete and expecting grass to grow. It won't work. This may seem radical, but don't you know that there is some stuff that God has to do? Now, once I've alleviated and evicted every encumbrance, then I can move to the fact that maybe this just might be a test. After I've removed all of the stuff that doesn't please my Father out of my way, out of my life and path, why am I not hearing God as I think I should? And I had to ask myself, why is it that God would let me be that close to him and still not tell me exactly what it is he wants me to do? It is because every now and then God will set you up for a faith move. Tell your neighbor, this is a faith move. What do you mean it's a faith move? A faith move is when you don't know exactly, specifically, precisely what the Lord is saying, but you know the Lord is saying, just start walking and I'll show you while you're on the way. And there are times, there are moments, there are instances, my brothers and sisters, where God will not tell you in detail exactly what he wants you to do, but he's going to see if you will trust him enough just to start moving. God is not just always going to give you the exact directions as to where you are going or where he is taking you. We've gotten accustomed to our modern day accoutrements, and we like the modern day stuff, Mother Swan, like the GPS system. I love my GPS. Anybody got a GPS system? You like your GPS system? Amen. Because you just put the thing there. You don't even have to look at it. You just put in the address of where you're going, and Denise just start talking to me. Yeah, I named her. That's right. Amen. And she just says, turn left. Amen. In 0.7 miles, exit right. Am I right about it? And if I just so happen to get distracted and don't listen to what Denise says and I go the wrong way, guess what she'll do? She says, recalculating. And she will come up with another path, turn right. And she will get me to where I'm going. But see, when we're dealing with God, God is not like Denise. He's not a GPS system that we can just float on and go our way and get to where we're going. But God says, you've got to move when I say move, even when you don't know where you're going. God will just say, start walking. Tell somebody, tell them, just start walking. You don't believe me. Look, let's go to Genesis 12. Come here, Abraham. Sure, I'll come here, Brother Swan. God told me in the 12th chapter of Genesis to get away from my kindred and my acquaintances to a land I will show you. If you leave your family, I'll bless you. I'll make you a blessing. I'll cause others to bless you. Now, wait a minute. Where am I going, God? He says, I'll tell you while you're on the way. And so Abraham just has to leave his comfort zone. Here are we in the text, the children of Israel. Where are they at? They just left bondage, just left Egypt. They're on their way to Canaan. They've left prison, trying to get to the promise. Wait a minute, they left where they were, but they have not arrived at where they are going yet. I wonder where that puts them. Well, according to my calculations, that puts them in between. Everybody say in between, in between. I'm just trying to figure out where all my in-between folks are in this house today. Are there any in-between folk in here? Okay. Act like you don't know, huh? But I see you whether you acknowledge it or not. There's some folk in here right now that are in between a rock and a hard place, in between shooting the dog and kicking the cat. Am I in the right house? In between going postal and committing suicide. In between being sick and being healed. In between leaving the career and starting the business. In between healing from the old relationship and finding peace in the new relationship. In between the habit and the addiction, trying to find new life and new joy and new peace and new hope and new deliverance. Are there any in between folk in here now? Yeah. In between losing the job and still giving to God out of your sacrifice. Oh, God. In between slapping the child or making sure he come up missing. Okay, y'all acting like y'all don't know. Like you ain't never been in between. Oh, yeah. See, you're looking at me strange and funny like you're already in Canaan. It's true, you're not back in Egypt, but don't front like you done made it to Canaan already. Look at your neighbor and say, yeah, you in between right now. Yeah, you are. I'm in between already and not yet. I'm in between what I used to be and what I'm going to be. I'm in between lack and prosperity. I'm in between catching the bus and driving my dream car. I'm in between the projects and my dream house. Is there anybody in here who can testify, preacher, yeah, I'm just in between. I'm in between. I may be black. I may be ugly, but I'm still here. I'm in between. I haven't arrived, but I did at least leave where I was. I'm not where I want to be, but thank God I'm not where I used to be.